that you and I think a lot of people around our age range will remember about this movie is the Freddy versus Jason original motion picture soundtrack.
Oh, God, yeah.
The most ultimate nu metal soundtrack of all time, which was released only a couple days prior. It was released on August 12th, 2003. So by Roadrunner Records, which was the premier metal label in that time. So, great soundtrack. Here's some of the bands. I have a list here of all the bands, and I'm not going to name all of them, but some of them. And the key single in this was "How Can I Live" by El Nino.
Top one.
First two El Nino albums, bangers. I'm not even. I was a nu metal kid in 2002, 2003, 2001. I was really into nu metal.
Yeah.
Nu metal was the rage, and I was really into El Nino. We've got Killswitch Engage, which is another fucking great band that I was into at the time when Darkness Falls. Great song. Spineshank, another fun. Dude, the first three songs on this album are heaters. You got Spineshank, Beginning of the End. Spineshank, not as good as El Nino in my book, but a great song. Then you've got Slipknot on here, Chimera, which I was really into Chimera, Hatebreed, Mushroom Head, Power Man 5000, funny enough, which I mentioned earlier. That guy looked like him.
You got Slipknot and Stone Sour on the same album.
Yeah, I never was into Stone Sour. Sepultura, Nothing Face, Lamb
of God.
Typo Negative.
Ooh, yeah.
So
the album
this was
an absolute heater.
This was a great soundtrack, dude. It's funny, every time I think of Freddy versus Jason, I think of this soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like one of the first things. Like, of course, I love them fighting and all that. But anytime I think of this movie, I just think of that time in my life where I was obsessed about everything Freddy versus Jason, including this fucking phenomenal soundtrack. And the soundtrack even has Freddy and Jason looking at each other with the verses in the middle.
Yes.
And then I believe a Catherine Isabeau in the center there, right underneath them on the cover.
Yeah.
Great fucking soundtrack,
I mean, like,
dude.
this
was a product of the time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like the late 90s to early 2000s was like horror movies and nu metal
yes,
were hand in hand.
Dracula 2000.
Yeah, The Faculty, like Halloween
Queen of the
H2O,
Damned.
Scream 3, like all of those movies had like nu metal and metal band soundtracks.
And butt rock.
Like, and butt rock. Yeah,
Butt
I mean,
rock.
like that's why I said this is the butt rock horror movie.
Yeah,
and
dude.
like this, I would say that Freddy vs. Jason's is top to bottom the best representation of that era of music and soundtracks.
I agree, and it's they don't do it anymore, which I find interesting. I feel like they've done it with the recent Halloween movies, which I like that they did that. Like Ghost had a song in Halloween Kills, and then Boy Harsher, which I'm a huge fan of Boy Harsher.
Right. They were all over
had a song in Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy Ghost, but I'm not really a fan of them as anymore because their music got a little
Ghost is on the new Insidious soundtrack too, which like I guess like
are they? Oh,
they're
bringing
trying
it back.
they're trying to keep that trend going or like bring it back. You're not going to get better than this soundtrack.
Listen, man, nothing beats a nu metal song in the end credits of a horror movie. And that, dude, I think Wrong Turn has like a Breaking Benjamin song in the end credits. House of Wax, Ghost Ship, all these movies have
that last scene in Ghost Ship, totally unrelated, but when they're going up the thing and the mud vein kicks in at the end, woo boy, what an ending.
Yeah, dude, it's a dead art form. We need to bring it back.
It is.
They need to bring back.
That's the problem with elevated horror. You go elevated horror, you got to do like scores and shit. Nah, give me nu metal, give me butt rock.
But even do what Halloween Ends did. They like Boy Harsher is a poppin' band right now.
Yeah, and they like recorded a track for the
movie, and it's in the movie and the end credits. So like it's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? And they use it wisely. It's not corny. Well, so it's not corny now. We might be looking at it 20 years from now and saying it's corny.
The thing with this soundtrack is it's 77 minutes long, the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack. The movie is only 97 minutes long. If they wanted to, they could have nu metal songs in everything but 20 minutes of the movie. That's nuts.
Dude, and this album was like high in like the Billboard charts, like the
Yeah,
Billboard
yeah.
200. You know what it came in on? 25.
That's
It was
crazy.
it was 25 and number 4 in the soundtrack albums. Like
That's
of
insane.
that time.
That's nuts.
Dude, it's crazy. How Can I Live? The El Nino song was 26 in the mainstream rock charts
Yeah.
in 2003. So, dude, the soundtrack just was a thing of legends, man. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
so good. I think there's people that probably like the soundtrack, hate the fucking movie, and all.
Oh,
in
yeah,
all
for
honesty.
sure.
You know what I mean? And a good chunk of the songs on the album were unreleased material from some of these bands,
Yeah.
which was cool too. So, great fucking album. Great album. And if there's one thing you learned from this episode, if you've never listened to the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack, do
Go
yourself
top
a favor.
to fucking bottom.
Go give that shit a listen right now.